Hello, welcome to a new game called Anemoiapolis. It's done by a Michigan developer called Andrew Quist. Was released 2023. Now I promised to do this one because the pools game that we had not long just gone through borrows some concepts from this game, so I thought we'd have a look at this and explain. Now the game takes about 2 to 4 hours depending on how much you explore. But I'm going to try and show you everything that's in it. It's made by the Unity program. Welcome to Anemoiapolis. Now this game is only one chapter, and the developer isn't really intending to create another chapter. So we begin outside. We're commissioned to look investigate a transformer which is gone awry with fluctuations. This is us thinking to ourselves, this shouldn't take long. What a sad billboard.
Anemoiapolis.
Now we speak out loud.
Anemoiapolis. I think that's it.
And that's how you correctly say it. Anemoiapolis, as you can see, the billboard's a bit old. We're supposed to be in a Grand Rapids, America region, or inspired by that, about the 1990s. Anemoiapolis, according to the developer, means having feelings of nostalgia for a time and place you've never been. And that's the transformer that we're supposed to take a look at. Now this is a backrooms sort of type of game, or the pool rooms. It was heavily inspired by the liminal spaces Reddit, and it's based off the Central Point Mall and a building called the Mac in the Grand Rapids area. Now Andrew Quist recommends Blender, Game Maker Toolkit and NoClip if you're looking into game making. But at the end of this video I'll show a little bit of snippet of Andrew Quist himself and what he looks like. Now he has finished with this game. I don't think he intends to make chapter 2. It ends in a really weird place. Now you would think we're in reality and we've no-clipped into the back rooms. Now I've got it on high settings and it sometimes stutters. And this is the introduction. Now, even though it feels like we were outside and we've no-clipped into the back rooms, in reality the whole place is mental.
Hello? Hello?
Now, the reason why I say the whole place is mental is because when we go through the game, we'll see a lot of random procedural generation happening. And this is what the Andrew Quist, while he was going through college, was really experimenting with. And of course, random procedure generation wouldn't happen in real life. So the whole thing seems to be, we've gone into this mental state, this mental place, which is kind of what the feelings I was getting eventually with the pool rooms as well, or the pools game, that it was more of a mental state. Even though in reality level 37 of the back rooms should not contain any entities. There is an entity in this game called the Shadow Man. Now I say entity. I have talked with the developer and found out where this game was going, and I'm not sure if it was actually an entity at all. And in some respects, people have said that this place seems haunted because of the Shadow Man. I'm getting more of a feeling that the Shadow Man was more of a symbol. And we'll talk about that later on when we do come across him. We won't come across him in this video. He comes up much later. We implemented to the first puzzle mechanic. I'm not sure why this is added. You would have to be absolutely daft beyond belief not to be able to get this. If you needed a walkthrough for this. But that's cool. I enjoyed that. Now we're getting our first inclination that something is amiss here. Well, no clipping itself should tell us something is amiss here. But we're supposed to bridge over to there apparently. But if you have a look at the floor there, it looks like what, maybe blood? It could be paint or grease or oil or something, but it does look a bit to be like blood. But anyway, we've got a bridge over. The game tells us what to do, so let's do that and jump over. And that's that area. We will never come back here. So the game, a lot of people say the game is about liminal spaces and how you feel about liminal spaces. I kind of, maybe at first, but eventually the game's more about how do you feel about random procedural generation and sort of like the hopelessness of an endless wandering. When I say random procedural generation, it's similar to how Minecraft works, just keeps building landscapes, endless landscapes, no matter, you won't reach the end. And that kind of happens here in this game. Now this is the currency of the shopping centre, Anemoiapolis. Just turn that. I will turn the sound up so you can get sensation. So it kind of drowns you out. You can play around with this beach ball, and but you can't get it over this lip here. I'm not sure what the point is. There's no achievements to this game. Whether it was going to be an achievement, I'm not sure. But what a lot of people don't know is there's actually a secret area past here where there's a whole heap of beach balls. So I don't know if you're supposed to get all the beach balls over. There's no real purpose. It might make an interesting screenshot. There's some tickets here too, by the way. You won't. There's more tickets than what's required, so you won't be starved of tickets. So you can push beach balls over there. That went well, but doesn't usually go that well. Like beach balls seem to have a mind of their own and don't want to always go up. So it would take too long. But if you wanted to create an interesting screenshot and you got the time, maybe for your profile, I don't know. It's up to you, I guess. I can't think of what other reason those ramps would be there for. Yeah, I guess you can use them yourself, but you know the chair on the other side can do that as well. And then you might be able to push all the beach balls together, and maybe one of the beach balls will be able to get over the lip. I don't know, and you'll be able to take it around places. I don't know. Be like your personal Wilson. Anyway, let's keep going. So there's no jump scares or anything like that. So that area is locked. It's short circuit. What I find interesting is in this next door section, the door's been propped open to make sure that the person can come back. So I don't know who's done that, but you'll see that on the bottom there, it's been propped open. Now we're kind of in a back rooms type of area, but we're still in the pool rooms. Normally, would you actually shout out like that? I think if I was in an area like this, I would be exceptionally quiet. I might turn on all the taps, but it's just a waste of money. I don't know. There's not really much you can interact with other than taps and things like that. Yeah, it's all pretty much standard stock thing. So I've this is the first video in my new apartment, so I'm not sure about scheduling recordings at the moment. So. But I'll try and get this one done as I've promised this one, and hopefully we'll get back to Freebie Friday and I don't know, a few other things, Minecraft videos. Let's see how we go. On my other channel, still do zombie games, finishing Eva the final mission on that one, and we'll still do Steam games in alphabetical order as well. Now you can open up all the lockers. I'm not going to do that because there's a hell of a lot of lockers here. I think one or two of the lockers have tickets in them, but you know what? I'm not starved for tickets. There's so many tickets in this shopping centre. It's crazy. The cleaner does a absolute rubbish job. So this. So when the guy did it, invented this game, it was during the COVID pandemic, and as I said, in the Grand Rapids area, he says there's a lot of space in America, so America doesn't kind of demolish and rebuild buildings, they just abandon buildings. So there's a lot of abandoned buildings in the Grand Rapids area, and he wanted to capture that sort of sensation. And this is where Anemoiapolis comes in. We're in the 1990s era sort of thing, which is reminiscent of the shell block maybe. I get sort of like nasty vibes from that room. that room I find creepy for some reason. But ultimately he was going through college at the time, doing this in his spare time. It wasn't fun. He says it was very taxing on him to be committed as much as he was. He got himself engaged. He then got a job, a full-time job, and he got self-married. So he just doesn't have the time. A lot of people say it's because he doesn't have the programs required to create the second chapter. That's not necessarily correct. It's just for the amount of time, even though the game was really successful, the money he made was pretty pittance in comparison to the amount of time he spent on the game. So he just didn't want to put himself under that sort of duress. This is locked. So we haven't come across random procedural generation yet. It's all pretty as much a stock standard maze. A bit nonsensical, the maze layout, but pretty standard. So every time you get in the elevator, it automatically saves, and that's how the game progresses. As I said, it only takes 2 to 4 hours, so I believe the speed record is about 20 minutes or somewhere around there. So this is kind of the game hub, if you want to put it. This is where you're going to keep coming back to. And the whole objective of the game, or chapter 1, is to enter into the 5 elevators and bring them up to this floor. And by doing so, only then can you enter into the elevator, which then it goes to the surface. The second thing that symbol that something is amiss is there's a bullet hole in the elevator, but that's sort of like in every elevator, so it might do stock art more than anything. So that's the surface elevator that we'll need to get into, but to get into that, we're going to need to bring 5 elevators up to the hub floor. And this is the first one, sale 0 tickets. So we go into the machine and we put in 0 tickets. The whole objective is to bring one of the elevators up to the top floor. Now we're going to see a bit of random procedural generation here. If you were to go back past the elevator, sort of like Minecraft, the game will just keep loading up chunks of information, and you'll just come across similar office spaces to what you've just left. It might just change in the colour of the carpet, or maybe a little bit of the wall painting, or some chairs, or the bins will be in different areas. The layout of the room will be different. Again, the layout sort of doesn't make much sense. Why would you have a layout looking like this? Some of the chairs will be tipped over. Some of the chairs will be in strange positions. Nothing really too fancy. We'll turn it up so you can hear the hum. So that sort of gives you the sickening feel that you might get in the back rooms. So this kind of gives you the back rooms sort of feel. But instead of the game testing you on how you feel about liminal spaces, it kind of feels like how do you feel about endless wandering through random generated programs. Basically that's it. Then when you come across something like this, it'll progress you forward to the elevator. But if I was to ignore the elevator and just walk past it, again, the game would just random generate various offices, and it would just go on endlessly. So it's up to you if you want to get the game and experiment. It is on itchio. I can also tell you it works on Steam Deck. I played through this whole entire game on Steam Deck. Since Steam Deck is now with us as well. And that's about it. We go back to the hub. I will try and bring the other 4 elevators up in another video, and come across the Shadow Man in one of those videos, and we'll talk about what the game is all about. Let's cut to Andrew Quist, and I'll show you a bit of Andrew Quist.
I started off with learning Blender, which, as you know, is
kind of a difficult program to learn, especially for middle schoolers. So it took a long freaking time to, um, do anything in for a while. But I'd actually really recommend it if you ever are interested in game art or just 3D art in general. Game mechanics are almost never patented. Well, okay, so with some very few stupid exceptions. There there's something that should be improved upon and worked on and shared and developed. Um, and yeah, it's a very cool thing to even just look at someone else's game mechanic and implement it yourself.
The reason why I added that is because on the Steam page, a lot of people said Liminal Core borrowed from this game. But Andrew Quist says, well, he borrowed game mechanics from other games. And Paul's borrowed mechanics from this one. So I don't think Andrew Quist really is that worried about that. As I said, he has moved on. But join me next time. Until then, bye for now.